Baby Blue Mind. I walk around the earth and talk about what's on my mind, and this is how to identify and eliminate the hidden haters in your life. How to identify and eliminate the hidden haters in your life. And I'm just going to give some sort of practical tips, and also just sort of explain my philosophy about how the haters in your life could be sort of stunting your growth or just holding you back from whatever sort of personal evolution you want to find yourself engaged in. And so for anyone who, I understand that the term hater might be sort of like an Americanized word, so I just want to explain sort of what I think a hater is, just in sort of like a non-colloquial fashion, just so we can kind of like agree on at least some sort of definition. It's not going to be terribly comprehensive. I'm just going to kind of keep it to a summary. And so when it comes to like haters, oftentimes it's kind of done in secret. It might be someone who's sort of nice to your face or smiles to your face, but actually they sort of resent you or dislike you or anything of that nature. And they can be part of your inner circle, which is particularly devious, or they can just sort of be like people out in the world or anything like that. And so haters, the word hater, the way that I'm just gonna sort of use it, is someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. Someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart, and someone who does not want to see you succeed. That's truly the fun at whatever your thing is that you're doing with your life. A hater is someone who does not want to see you succeed at whatever it is you're up to. That's sort of the definition of hater that I'm going to sort of go with. Now, I'll give you just a couple practical tips for identifying haters, because the hater sort of by definition dislikes you. That's the nature of it. Just think about it. If someone who likes you wouldn't root against you for any reason like that. So we're operating under the assumption that the hater dislikes you, okay? Now, let's just walk through. This is something that I do to identify sort of dislike in people around me, or potential strangers, or anybody that I'm just sort of engaged with, or just around, or just people in general. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to discuss is called ventral denial. You can look this up and cross-check anything that I'm saying, obviously. It's a body language analysis thing called ventral denial. And what ventral denial is, I'll just give you an example, is let's say you walk into a group, okay? You walk into some kind of group, and when you walk into the group, some kind of like social group, let's just say there's a circle of 5 people, and you approach the group, and you just sort of like integrate, you're sort of beginning to integrate yourself into the group, okay? What ventral denial is that someone who doesn't like you or feels like discomfort or anything like that, or just like resents you or anything of that nature, perhaps subtly, but instinctually, they turn their torso away from you. That's the body language analysis. And I'm getting this from like FBI body language experts, because that's the type of stuff I read, in addition to many, many other books. And I'm not saying I'm no body language expert. I just picked up enough tips to identify and eliminate the haters in my life. And so ventral denial, if you come into a group, and it could just be subtle, it could just be like a tweak like that, because it's done subconsciously on the part of the person who is doing the ventral denial. It's not like they turn their entire back to you. Obviously, if you walk into a group and someone turns their back on you, they don't particularly like you. But this is far more subtle. If they just kind of, so you put your, when you walk into a group, at least what I do, when I walk into a group, or hey, how you doing, guys? When I walk into a group or walk into like any kind of room or anything like that, or any kind of social situation, man, my eyes are on torsos. What's your torso up to? You know what I'm saying? I'm torso monitoring whenever I walk into a room, because that gives me the lay of the land of who's who in terms of who likes me, who dislikes me, you know, any sort of thing like that. Now think about how that's basically playing with the cheat codes to life. If you can identify who likes you and who doesn't like you based on that. Now, body language experts, some of them, if they were to criticize me, they might say that the ventral denial alone is not enough to suggest disgust or dislike, because they tend to prefer to see a cluster of body language behaviors. But in my direct personal experience, the ventral denial is a tremendously powerful analytical tool to gather whether someone likes you or doesn't like you. And that's sort of borne out in my life. And I recall very specifically, I won't go into, I won't name names or anything like that, but I was in a particular social situation where I hadn't seen a person for an extended period of time. And I was like really happy to see the person basically. And when I sort of approached the group, I almost came in with sort of, not like a surprise, like I was like, hey guys, but it sort of happened in a social setting where it was mildly surprising to see me, who the person hasn't seen in several years it was at this point. And I was like, hey, you know, thinking like everything's all good. It's good to see these people. Man, sure enough, that torso instinctively snapped away from me, like instantly. Because the body can't, it's difficult for the body to contain something like that if it's just a subconscious response to the situation. The body turned away, and even to the point where his foot crossed away from me momentarily and then he brought it back, I'm like, oh, I didn't see that. I thought me and this guy were like on the same page. Oh, I get it now. And then for the rest of the conversation, in a surprise to no one, this particular gentleman was super cordial, super friendly, super, everything. And if I hadn't identified the ventral denial going into the situation, I would have been completely unprepared psychologically to interpret the stuff that was coming out of his mouth. Because now I'm like, oh, ha, I get it. Right now you're just playing the game. You don't really like me at all, okay? See how that can kind of be a cheat code? Now, I wasn't a jerk to him in response or like sought any sort of like vengeance or retaliation, but it's just filling out the picture of the people that you're dealing with if you can identify these body language cues. Now, that brings me to my next body language cue. This one's critical and it's very easy to identify if you're looking for it, okay? This one deals with, and look all this stuff up, man. I'm not just like pulling this out of nowhere. I read about this stuff because I want to know who likes me and who doesn't like me, straight up. Because no matter who you are, there's going to be people who don't like you. So if you can sort of identify that as soon as you walk into a room, you're playing with the cheat codes, in my humble opinion. So next body language analysis thing. This one deals with the smile. There's a world of information in a smile, okay? A world of information in a smile. But there's fundamentally two kinds that you need to be aware of when it comes to identifying and eliminating the hidden haters in your life, okay? First, I'll give you the true, authentic smile. Someone likes you. Someone really is laughing at your joke. Someone is on your team. Someone is sort of like with the program. They find something you said literally funny. They're not just paying you. They're not giving you courtesy laughs or anything like that, or courtesy smiles or nothing like that. And this can dictate to you who genuinely is smiling at you, because believe it or not everybody who smiles at you likes you. That's a pretty difficult truth to figure out, but you can now, after watching this video, you can decipher smiles, okay? And here's how. A true, genuine smile, what you look for is the wrinkles around the eyes, okay? That little wrinklage around the eye. If someone's smiling in a genuine fashion like that, or they're really exhibiting like positive emotion while smiling towards you, their eyes are gonna wrinkle. It takes their entire face to smile, okay? Their entire face will engage. That's the good sign, the good smile. And obviously there's plenty of different smiles, but like, I'm just breaking it down into these two categories for like versus dislike, disgust versus, pleasantry. Now, the smile you gotta look for. So remember, the smile that you're looking for is just the mouth smile, because people, even if they don't like you, can give you that mouth smile, and in their head they're like, oh, I got this smile covered, you know what I mean, like I got this. But obviously they're not truly finding whatever you're saying enjoyable. They don't find it funny, or they might, like in a lot of circumstances, just dislike you as a person. They don't want you around. They are just, whatever reason, it's exhibiting some form of negativity or hesitancy to whatever's coming out of your mouth, or just sort of who you are as a person. Because people who actually do like you and they smile at you, their eyes are gonna light up, their face is gonna light up, okay? And so when you're deciphering the smile, remember this. You see someone's face go into smile land, boom, your eyes immediately go to the wrinkles on each side of their eyes. That tips the whole game off. There's nothing they can do about it, man. And you can't hide that. It's not possible to hide that. Either your eyes, the sides of your eyes wrinkle and your entire face goes into a smile, or you're like, think about when there's also, again, it's not like a hard and fast rule where it applies in every sort of situation. There can also be sort of like neutral versions of that, where like I walk by people all the time and I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Just kind of giving that like, hello, how, like that's just neutral. If it's a stranger or something like that, there's neutral smiles and things of that nature. But if you see someone with that they kind of got that like bolted fake smile on and their eyes aren't lighting up, that could be an indication of dislike or disgust. Now, if you repeatedly see that, that's what they call, basically clustering in body language analysis. So if you suspect that someone in your life like sort of secretly has disgust for you, or they're not like really on your team or whatever, or something like that, man, watch the eyes when they smile. Both wrinkles on each sides of their eyes. That's how you decipher a smile, okay? So those are 2 body language tips that you can implement today if you want to. And remember, the whole purpose of this is for your benefit, so that you can uproot any sort of hidden haters that are around you, or at the very least identify them, okay? Because throughout the course of life, there's going to be situations where you just have to be around haters in general, whether you got to work with them, you're going to school with them, people just ain't going to like you for whatever reason. But if you have this sort of superpower of identifying them, this is going to give you a better picture and a better landscape of who you want to ultimately dedicate your energy towards. Because if you see someone who is exhibiting some of these body language behaviors towards you, and just sort of giving you the impression of like negativity, disgust, or hatred or anything like that, man, you don't really want to weight their opinion with the same weighting that you might from the opinion of someone who is like on your team or something like that. Because remember, you have to consider, always consider the source of information that you're getting it from. So if you have the landscape of sort of who's on your team versus who's not on your team, you'll be able to better identify if someone's like a little manipulative, a little sort of like there's something going on. Because if you identify through the eyes and the ventral denial or something like that somebody, like, there's something going on. And you can also just read someone's like general energies or aura. If you just sort of zoom out, you can tell a lot of times when someone doesn't like you. It's not particularly difficult. And a lot of people don't even make it a secret. I'm just trying to talk about the people who might be essentially hiding it from you. And man, I've had so many haters in my life, I can't even count them. This is the whole, I've been doing this. And so, now let's switch gears from the body language analysis to more just kind of, not necessarily like social cues, but this will apply more to potentially the people who are like kind of in your inner circle, or people that you sort of have more, hold on, let me make sure I don't get hit by any cars here if I cross the street. Shoot. All right. Okay, so let's go more into sort of, let's step out of body language world and step into sort of social dynamic world. A lot of these are pretty obvious, but I'm just going to try to like drive home the point with respect to, remember, identifying and eliminating the hidden haters in your life in order to improve the quality of your life. So first one, let's start with, now this particular one goes to why your the hidden haters in your life might be stunting your growth in particular. So I invented this. I haven't done it on anyone, but it's just a test that I invented in order so that other people can identify and eliminate the hidden haters in their life. And the test goes as follows. I call it the book test. The book test. And now here's how the book test operates, okay? You're going to go to each person who you're sort of testing. And this isn't no devious testing or anything like that. You're just trying to figure out who's on your team and who's not on your team. If there's any hidden snakes in your camp, basically. Now, here's how the book test operates. You go to anyone who you want to test, and you do this individually, not in a group. And you go to them and you say, I'm going to write a book. I'm gonna write a book, okay? Regardless of whether you are gonna write a book or not, you tell them, I'm going to write a book, and the only thing left is to determine what the book is going to be about. That's the only thing left. I've already decided I'm gonna write a book. It's a 100% certainty that I'm going to write the book. And now, the only information that I'm sort of seeking from you as a person that I sort of like interact with pretty frequently is, what do you think this book should be about? That's the book test. Now, anyone who is on your team or in favor of your own sort of personal evolution, they're gonna say something along the lines of, oh wow, that's a great idea. I didn't see that one coming. That's how you doing? Oh wow, I didn't see that one coming. I think that's a great idea. That's so cool. You're gonna try something like completely new. I didn't know you were thinking about becoming an author. That's amazing. I'm sure you'll be able to figure that out even if you're not an author, because if you set your mind to something, you can definitely do that. Look at the past when you did this, you did that. I have full faith and belief that you can, pull something like that off. What you should write it about is you're really, really good at this, or you really have sort of a unique skill set when it comes to this particular thing. Maybe you could share your expertise in that particular area, or something of that nature. That's what someone who's truly on your team is going to say, okay? The hidden hater, by contrast, will provide some sort of resistance or dismissal. How does that take place? You bring the book test to a hidden hater. Man, why are you gonna write a book? You don't know how to write a book. Have you ever written anything before? You're not even a good writer. What? Why would you? Can't you think of a better way to use your time? I don't even know how you would do that. That's sort of the obvious, hardcore one. But you also have to look for the more subtle responses to the book test, and these can take the following, okay? Just imagine this. Think about the significance if you decide to write a book, okay? Think about how significant of a decision in your life that would be. You're stepping way, way, way outside your comfort zone, doing something you've never done before, and maybe have no sort of training, no sort of anything, no kind of whatever in doing that. That's a momentous occasion in your life that is exhibiting a tremendous amount of personal growth, okay? Now, a true friend would recognize that immediately. Oh, wow, I never thought you were gonna do that. That's so cool. You could definitely do that. That's the true friend. The hidden hater? Oh yeah, I was actually gonna write a book. I always thought about writing a book. Yeah, that's what I would write my book about. Me. That's one of the ways that a hidden hater will respond to that. Completely dismiss your momentous decision and make the conversation entirely about them, okay? Now, there's another more subtle variant of that must be spoken about when it comes to applying the book test. When you apply the book test and you say, I'm going to write a book, the decision has 100% been made. What, sir or madam, do you think I should write it about? What do you think I should write it about? Okay? In the same way that with the I smile test, we directed our attention to a certain thing very, very pointedly, we're going to do the same thing with the hidden hater's response to your book test, okay? What do you direct? In the same way we looked at the wrinkles in the eyes, we're going to direct our attention to one specific thing. We're going to direct our attention to one specific thing when you apply the book test and you say, what do you think I should write the book about? Okay? So, what's the one thing you direct your attention to? Yeah, use this in different variations many a time. Zone everything out about the conversation. Zone completely out and focus on one thing. How long does it take them to change the subject? You have one task for your attention. How long does it take for them to change the subject? This is going to determine precisely whether the person that you're speaking to is in favor of your personal evolution or whether they're a hidden hater. Okay? Why is that? Because if you were to write a book, okay, that's a momentous shift in your identity, okay? And the hidden hater is comfortable with the fixed version of yourself that they already know. What I call the status quo identity, the present state of affairs, okay? That's what they're comfortable with. The true friend wants to see you grow, wants to see you evolve, wants to see you succeed, whether that's book writing, whatever it is, any kind of new growth pattern. Your true friend will be 100% in favor of that, and they won't feel any sort of like insecurity or hesitation or resistance from you performing an activity of growth or evolution, okay? The hidden hater, by contrast, now let's expand it just from the book writing thing. Let's expand it beyond the idea of writing a book to anytime you bring an idea to someone that would involve your personal growth or evolution. This could be a weight loss journey. This could be wanting to start painting. This could be, I don't know, anything that sort of fundamentally shifts your identity from your status quo identity in the present state of affairs you find yourself in into something fundamentally different, okay? Whenever you bring that to someone and you're observing their response to you. I mean, I think I invented this, so I'm just gonna call it, what should I call it? Just give me a second, I'll come up with something decent. Let's just call it the change of subject test, okay? So this is the change of subject test. Whenever you bring an idea to someone, be it in your inner circle or potentially like your periphery or something like that, and thank you, my friend. You bring an idea that involves your personal growth or your personal evolution. You bring an idea to someone, and now you apply the change of subject test to that person's response. A person who is not in favor of your personal evolution or personal growth, watch how quickly they change the subject on you. They don't want to talk about your personal growth or evolution. It might be generating major insecurity in them. It might be generating envy or jealousy, or like, oh man, I should have done that. It could be generating any number of negative activity in them. They don't want to experience that negative activity, and so they're going to change the subject as quickly as possible in order to get out of the discomfort that they're experiencing as a result of you conveying the fact that you're interested in personal growth or evolution, okay? That's the change of subject test. You zone everything else about the conversation out. You just focus on how long does it take for them to change the subject, okay? Those are four, I think it was four, just sort of like 2 body language, 2 sort of social type analyses that you could bring to identifying and eliminating the hidden haters in your life. And now, remember, these tests aren't meant to be like devious or anything like that, but don't you want to be aware of who, don't you want to be aware of who your true friends are? And let me tell you this, because I've also experienced this too. You might find, as I found, the amount of true friends that I had was a lot less than I thought. A lot less than I thought. Now, one of the ways to deal with this is that if you do sort of take any of these tests, or you sort of identify that people might not be your true friend or anything like that, if you do bring these things and you identify that someone isn't as true of a friend as you might have thought or something like that, man, it ain't necessarily like you have to completely eliminate that person from your life or anything like that. You can still keep them as a person who's in your life, but just think about what they just displayed to you. I tend to like my world in very black and white, and so if I sort of identify hidden haters in my inner circle, man, they're gone immediately. I don't play that shit. I don't keep, if I identify someone as a hidden hater, they're about my circle in 2 seconds. Like that's just a fact. And also, when this also applies in this fashion, if you're considering like inviting someone into like your inner circle, or you're considering like sharing information or being like vulnerable with someone, or you know, just sort of letting them in on some of maybe more the complex dynamics of your mind, apply these same tests, man. It works the same way going out as it does going in. You can vet people, and you can, I've also done this to, you can do it to vet, in my particular situation, vet women that I'm dating in the same fashion. And also, just so you know, even if you've been in sort of a longer term something or other, you might want to apply these tests to the person that you're with. Just a thought. Because when I applied these tests to a person that I was with relatively recently, they failed all of them. And that person ain't no longer part of my life because I do it black and white. So, hope you're watching this, lady. You gave yourself away, as people do if you know what you're looking for. This is your boy, Baby Blue Mind. Baby blue like the color, mind like the one that keeps it black and white when it comes to haters in my circle. Please, please, please. I'm terrible at YouTube, so I always forget to say this shit, but like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, or don't, whatever you want to do. It's your life. Go identify and eliminate the hidden haters in your life. Stop listening to me. You got better stuff to do now. So, Baby Blue Mind, please like, share, and subscribe. I wish you all the best in your hater identification and elimination activities. And if any of this was beneficial, please leave a comment or something like that, because all this stuff worked for me. Hopefully it works for you. And even if you get some tough truths along the way, but you know, I'm just trying to give you a little, maybe a little tough love when it comes to this kind of stuff. But remember, at the end of the day, the whole purpose of this is to increase the quality of your life. It's not, even if you get tough truths along the way, once you get through the other side, the quality of your life is going to be increased, because think about it, now you're only going to be consuming information from better sources, which ultimately would ideally free you up, enable your personal growth, and enable your personal evolution, as opposed to having hidden haters who might be stifling any of those activities. Baby Blue Mind, please like, share, subscribe, and I wish you all the best. Deuces.